Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Poland is strengthening economic cooperation with Saudi Arabia following Finance Minister Andrzej Domanski's recent visit to the kingdom. New agreements between the countries aim to boost trade, exports and investment. Joining me is Marcin Krzyżanowski, he's Middle East expert at the Jagiellonian University, to explain what this deepening partnership means for Poland. Welcome, Marcin, to TVP World. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Pleasure. So tell me what's going on here. I mean, Saudi Arabia is Poland's biggest trading partner in the Middle East, but clearly Poland is stepping things up a notch. Talk us through that.
Definitely. Poland is trying to fill the gap of a trade deficit between Poland and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is our main supplier of oil from the Middle East. And we faced a huge imbalance in our trade relations. In last year, we imported approximately goods for 10 billion of US dollars, and we exported only approximately less than 1 billion. So it's 10 times less than we both. Missions like that of Minister Domański are a good step forward to close that gap in trade balance. The most important outcome of the visit is establishing relations between Polish banks and Saudi Arabian Exim Bank.
Right. So you mentioned Saudi Arabian Exim Bank, and also the Polish side of that is the National Economy Bank, the BGK. They've signed a memorandum of understanding. What have they understood?
They understood that any kind of deeper cooperation requires a huge amount of money. So credits and other financing instruments are required, are very necessary. And this MOU is the first step on the path to deeper cooperation. We have to remember that Middle East is very hard area to establish a new partnership and to sustain it. Although the money in the hands of Saudi investors are huge, it is sometimes very hard to get close to them. But there is a huge chance for a fruitful cooperation on the fields like infrastructure, FMCG, and IT, not to mention, not less to forget about AI.
Okay, so how do we see this relationship working, Marcin? We're not talking only about direct exports, we're actually talking about foreign direct investment in the Middle East, aren't we?
Yes, Poland, except of trade, is looking for investment opportunities, especially in connection to huge infrastructural projects like NOML, or generally speaking, Saudi vision. Not to forget about future football championship, world championship in Saudi Arabia, and in 2030 World Expo.
So in which areas is Poland going to benefit?
The four main areas is IT, including AI, including infrastructure, agriculture development, and infrastructural projects like, for example, electricity lines, water pipes, and things like that.
So that's where Poland will be investing.
Poland delegation was focused on this. Yeah, we will more cooperate than only. It will be a broad scope of actions, from the joint venture projects through FDE up to the trade.
Okay. Now, Poland is actually going up against a number of other countries who've already been in the region for many years, in some cases decades. How is it going to kind of cut a little niche of the marketplace for itself?
That's the biggest problem. A very huge competition from countries and companies like, for example, France, Germany, Italy. One of the biggest problem of Polish companies is that we lack a brand, would be a power horse of our presence in the Middle East. Not Polish government companies like from the oil sector, especially Orlen or KGHM, should be like a piercers of our action for our actions in the regions. Private companies should also be included, but considering the situation and the Middle Eastern market, especially Saudi market, it is impossible to create a huge presence there without support from the government companies.
What do we see then Saudi being a launching pad for more Polish interests across the Middle East?
There is huge chance for it, although the path to success is very long. Because, as I said, missions such these are very useful, but it is only an element of the broader strategy. And before we will see a finalization of the contracts with the fruits of such delegations, such events, we will have to wait and work a lot to sustain those ties.
So it's the hope, but it may take some time to actually bring it to fruition. What about the other way around, Marcin? Can we expect investment from Saudi into Poland?
Also, except of expansion of Polish companies in Saudi Arabia and in broader Middle East, there is also an issue of Saudi investments in the Polish oil sector and agricultural sector, and also creation of joint venture entities targeted to create new possibilities of cooperation. For Saudis, of course, the oil sector will be crucial in both countries. And the second one is mentioned before, agriculture and IT.
Right. So if we zoom out a little bit, strategically speaking, what is the aim behind this move at this time for Poland?
Most important is simple: money. Polish companies needs funds, needs gains, needs profits to exist and to expand. The second issue is, of course, policy making and international relations. Saudi Arabia is, like Poland, a close, although much more important, ally of United States. As we are in one political, geopolitical team, we should cooperate closer. There is also a huge, very important problem of Russian influence in the Middle East. The more European companies are present in the area, the less space for the Russian will be left.
Understood. Marcin, unfortunately, we're going to have to end it there, but thank you so much for sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening too.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away. As always, lots more coming up. Goodbye.